Wait, ew! Guys, I'm in Target, right? And I wanted to buy a box of Lunchly so that I can compare it with Lunchables in Singapore. This is still moldy. This one's moldy. This one's moldy. This one's moldy. They're all moldy, bro. How are they selling this? How's this?
We have our snacks and our energy drink, none other than the greatest meals in the world. Lunchly, of course, we have the turkey, cheese, and cracker stack. Also the Fiesta Nachos, my personal favorite.
Love.
Few products in YouTube history have crashed this hard, this fast, quite like Lunchly. What looks like a guaranteed win, backed by 3 of the biggest creators on the internet, quickly turned into one of the most heavily criticized and openly joked about launches the platform has ever seen. A brand that seemed impossible to miss suddenly became the center of non-stop controversy and public scrutiny. Before long, people were pointing to discounted stock sitting on store shelves, online discussions about mold allegations were spreading, and the brand's image took a major hit that it never fully shook off. But the real story is far more complicated and a lot more surprising than most people remember. The issues didn't begin when the headlines exploded. To understand how everything unraveled, we need to go back to where the whole thing first started.
We came together to create a Lunchables competitor featuring the fastest growing hydration beverage ever and the fastest growing candy ever. And so we did that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to Lunchly. Oh, yes.
In the beginning, the reaction to Lunchly wasn't completely negative, and that's a detail many people tend to leave out when talking about the brand today. Looking at the situation back then, the early excitement actually made a lot of sense. Logan Paul and KSI already had Prime on their side, one of the fastest growing and most talked about beverage brands of its time. It had shaken up the market, attracted huge attention, and built a loyal customer base that many long-established companies would have loved to have. Mr. Beast brought Feastables to the table, a brand that had quickly secured a real place in the competitive chocolate industry. In a surprisingly short amount of time, it had gone from a creator-backed project to a widely recognized product with strong sales and major retail presence. That success gave people even more reason to believe the next venture could work. So when all 3 creators teamed up and revealed a lunch kit designed to compete directly with Lunchables, the idea seemed logical from the start. These weren't newcomers taking a random shot. They had massive audiences, successful brands, and a track record of turning online influence into real products that consumers actually bought. The early marketing reflected that confidence. Social media was flooded with comparisons to Lunchables, and Lunchly wasn't being presented as just another option. The message was clear. This was supposed to be the modern, upgraded choice, promoted as a better and healthier alternative for the young consumers these products were aimed at.
Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar.
Whoa.
Feastables Crunch Bar. Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese.
Drip versus stick.
That promotional campaign is precisely where the trouble began, and it escalated faster than anyone involved probably anticipated. Other creators started weighing in almost immediately, and the tone shifted very quickly from cautious optimism to pointed criticism. The most impactful response by a significant margin came from DanTDM, who posted a tweet that cut through all the noise in just a few sentences. He wrote that he couldn't stay quiet anymore, that what he was seeing was selling stuff purely for the sake of making money, with no genuine benefit to the people buying it, and that it amounted to pushing questionable products onto kids who trusted the people promoting them to have their best interests at heart. The tweet caught fire almost immediately. Support flooded in from across the platform, from other creators, from parents, from longtime fans of everyone involved. Suddenly, Lunchly was at the center of a much larger and more uncomfortable conversation about what creator responsibility actually looks like when you're selling products to young audiences. Logan Paul. That marketing campaign is exactly where the first major problem started, and things escalated much faster than many people expected. What began as a product launch quickly turned into a heated debate across the internet. Other creators started sharing their opinions almost immediately, and the mood shifted from cautious support to sharp criticism in a matter of days. The response that made the biggest impact came from DanTDM, whose tweet cut through the growing noise with just a few direct statements. He wrote that he could no longer stay silent, arguing that what he was seeing looked like products being sold mainly for profit rather than offering meaningful value to consumers. He also raised concerns about marketing products to young audiences who often place a high level of trust in the creators they follow. The post spread incredibly fast. Support poured in from all corners of the platform, including fellow creators, parents, and longtime viewers. Before long, Lunchly was no longer just being discussed as a new product. It had become the center of a much larger conversation about influencer marketing, audience trust, and what responsibilities creators have when promoting products to younger fans. Logan Paul, KSI, and MrBeast each responded in different ways as the criticism continued to grow. However, KSI became the most vocal defender of the project, spending days responding online and eventually releasing an entire video focused on addressing the concerns and criticisms that had been circulating across social media.
And DanTDM replied. This is what he had to say.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better! Do better!
From the outside, KSI's response gave the impression of someone trying to show that the criticism wasn't affecting him while continuing to engage with it again and again. He repeatedly pushed back against negative comments, downplayed the backlash, and argued that many critics misunderstood the goals behind the project and what the team was trying to build. However, instead of fading away, the criticism continued to grow. As more people joined the discussion, KSI changed his approach and began pointing to some of DanTDM's past sponsorships and brand partnerships. His argument was that Dan had participated in similar promotional deals during his own career, which, in KSY's view, weakened the criticism being directed at Lunchly. That strategy quickly became a controversy of its own. Rather than slowing down the conversation, it sparked even more debate across social media. Many people felt the focus was shifting away from the original concerns and turning into a personal back and forth between creators. As a result, discussions around the product became even louder and more widespread. The internet responded in force. Comment sections, posts, and videos filled up with people analyzing the arguments from every angle. A large number of users argued that the comparisons being made didn't fully address the concerns that had originally been raised. Instead of calming the situation, the exchange added another layer to an already growing controversy, putting even more attention on Lunchly and the criticism surrounding its launch.
Looks like crap to me, while showing his toys that he sold to kids. How does this benefit your fans, Dan? Now, obviously, people didn't realize that I was shining a mirror in his face. Instead, they were like,
Wait, you did the same as Dan. You made toys with Tube Heroes.
and yes, that's fair, but I'm not the one complaining. But okay, did I reply to this? He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? At this point, his fans imploded. But again, they kept moving the goalposts and being like,
Oh, well, Dan only did this once. He's only made a video once about sweeties to his audience, so you're wrong.
I mean, he still did it, but sure. If you just type in DanTDM sweets, there's countless of videos of him eating sweets, promoting sweets to his audience, but
The reason KSI's counter-argument struggled to gain traction was actually fairly simple when many people looked at the details. In the eyes of critics, the situations being compared weren't exactly the same. DanTDM had promoted candy and sweet products in the past, but those items were generally understood to be treats. Consumers knew what they were buying, and they weren't typically being presented as part of a healthier lifestyle or as a nutritional alternative. Lunchly, on the other hand, was being promoted with a very different message. The marketing emphasized ideas around being a better option and a healthier choice when compared to traditional lunch kits. Because of that, many viewers felt the conversation wasn't really about whether creators should sell products at all. It was about the specific claims and expectations attached to those products. That distinction became a major talking point across social media. As more people discussed it, many argued that comparing the two situations overlooked the key concerns being raised. Instead of weakening the criticism, the comparison often drew even more attention to the differences that critics were already highlighting. The debate continued to grow, and countless posts, videos, and comments picked apart every angle of the controversy. Then came the move that made the situation even more frustrating for KSY's supporters and critics alike. DanTDM simply chose not to engage further. There was no public argument, no extended back and forth, and no direct response to the tweets or video. He stayed silent. Months later, he uploaded a few casual family photos with the caption, "Living the dream." KSI replied with, "Happy for you, man." And that was essentially where the public exchange ended. The topic remained largely dormant until Dan was eventually asked about the controversy during an appearance on Tommy and It's podcast, where he finally shared his thoughts on the situation in more detail for the first time.
Tom speaks highly of your aura. I really do.
Sure, yeah, with the whole Twitter stuff that happened, the aura was quite strong.
That's what he goes on about. I think
I couldn't believe that. It was like,
was it mad?
Yeah, like the whole, it felt a bit Game of Thronesy. Like the whole internet like had my back, which was kind of wild.
Oh yeah, it was really cool. Was it? Were you just sat in your room like, this is a bit mad?
Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous, but like,
it was
like
awesome. And then the living the dream. Living the dream was crazy. Mate, he's been crying for like 2 weeks straight, and you come in and just like, I have a great life. That was incredible. And what I just enjoyed is like, he couldn't get around his head why. I don't think he's never not been the top dog before. The way I described it is like, if you're in school and like me and Jack are year 8s and he's like a year 10, and then for the first time ever, the really kind year 11 goes, no. And he's like, never had that happen before.
I think it was just more as well, like I couldn't be bothered to like fight. Like he loves the whole back and forth. That's what the whole boxing stuff's
what he
about.
wants,
like I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But it was funnier to not feed into it because
just exhausting.
You just watch it happen. It was fun.
Was it fun?
It was
to
fun,
sit back and.
It was fun.
Dan's decision not to continue the public back and forth ended up speaking volumes all by itself. While many viewers expected a lengthy online feud, that never happened. Instead, his silence led people to focus on the different approaches each creator seemed to be taking throughout the controversy. From the perspective of many observers, KSI continued to engage heavily with the discussion, responding to criticism and keeping the topic active across social media. In the world of online content, major debates often generate huge amounts of attention, engagement, and visibility. Every post, reply, and video can keep a story in circulation and encourage even more conversation around the people and products involved. Dan, meanwhile, appeared to take a very different route. At this stage of his career, he had built a long-standing reputation, had responsibilities outside of content creation, and seemed less interested in turning the situation into an extended public conflict. Rather than adding more fuel to an already massive discussion, he chose not to participate further. That contrast stood out to a lot of people watching the situation unfold. As the weeks went on, many viewers began discussing not just the original controversy, but also the different ways each creator handled it. In the eyes of many online observers, that difference became a story of its own and shaped how the entire exchange was remembered.
You know what's funny as well? My wife was always like, just think before you tweet. That was one time I didn't really think too much before tweeting. Usually I'll type it out and be like, no, I can't bother, delete it.
Yeah.
So then I didn't tell her for like 3 days, and she's not on Twitter really. So I didn't tell her. And then I kept getting notifications from my phone. I was like, oh, Logan Paul's responded. Jimmy's messaged you. KSI's responded. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to mention something now.
What was it like? Hey babe, so
yeah. She was like, oh, well, I agree with you, but maybe you should just not kind of like stoke the fire anymore. I was like, okay, that's fair.
But as controversial as the DanTDM situation was, it ended up being only a small part of the challenges that Lunchly would eventually face. Once the product reached store shelves, reviewers and content creators began buying it for side-by-side comparisons against competing lunch kits. What started as routine product reviews quickly turned into something much more serious. People weren't just discussing marketing claims anymore. They were examining the product itself and sharing their findings online for millions to see. One of the most widely discussed reviews came from Rosanna Pansino. During a detailed comparison between Lunchly and Lunchables, she documented an issue that immediately caught the internet's attention. According to her review, she discovered visible mold inside one of the products she had purchased. This wasn't being presented as a simple packaging difference or a minor quality concern. The allegations centered on visible mold appearing in a food item that had been marketed to consumers as a convenient lunch option. Unsurprisingly, the claims spread rapidly online and sparked a new wave of criticism and concern surrounding the brand.
I was shooting a video comparing Lunchly to Lunchables, and I opened the first package, which was supposed to be good until December 8th, 2024, and we just got this one. This was fresh from the store this morning, and there is a ton of mold in there. I honestly wasn't expecting that. I was thinking that, maybe they would taste pretty similar, just, not have that best or better for you ingredients. And I was going to go over nutritional facts and things, but this is really concerning. So I just am pausing from filming just to take a little break to show this. And I have a fork. Denise, is this okay if I use this? Yeah. Okay. I have a fork and I'm just going to dig into it just to see. Oh yeah. Okay. That is a ton of mold. This is really dangerous.
In response to the growing controversy, Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, and KSI largely described the situation as a manufacturing and quality control issue that was being identified and addressed over time. The message was that problems can occur during production and that improvements were being made to reduce the chances of similar issues happening in the future. While that explanation may have addressed part of the discussion, many critics felt it missed the concern that was driving the backlash. For a large number of consumers, the central issue wasn't whether the problem could eventually be fixed. It was the fact that products reportedly containing mold had allegedly made it through the production process and reached store shelves in the first place. Because these lunch kits were marketed toward families and younger consumers, expectations around quality and safety were especially high. As a result, the reports generated intense scrutiny online. The conversation quickly shifted from marketing claims and creator responsibility to questions about product consistency and quality assurance. The situation became even more damaging as additional creators began posting videos documenting products they claimed contained mold. Each new post brought another wave of attention. By early this year, one widely shared video showed a shopper examining Lunchly products in a supermarket and claiming that a significant portion of the available stock showed signs of mold, despite the products reportedly still being within their listed expiration dates. The footage spread rapidly, adding even more pressure to a controversy that was already spiraling across social media.
Wait, ew! Guys, I'm in Target, right? And I wanted to buy a box of Lunchly so that I can compare it with Lunchables in Singapore. This is still moldy. This one's moldy. This one's moldy. This one's moldy. They're all moldy, bro. How are they selling this? How's this legal? They're not expired, by the way. It's Valentine's Day today, and yes, I am in the Target getting Lunchly for Valentine's Day. Reason not listed. Pretty sure all the blue ones.
I got it. Thank you.
By that stage, many critics no longer viewed the mold reports as an isolated launch issue. Instead, the growing number of documented complaints led some observers to argue that the problem appeared more persistent than originally suggested. As additional examples surfaced online, questions about whether the issue had been fully resolved became increasingly difficult for the brand to avoid. What stands out when looking at the broader controversy is that Lunchly continued to remain available in stores despite the negative publicity. For many brands, repeated quality concerns, especially involving food products marketed to families, can create enormous reputational challenges and long-term damage. KSI has referenced the brand's continued presence on store shelves as a sign that the business remains operational and that consumer interest has not disappeared. He has argued that Lunchly continues to move forward despite the criticism, while critics maintain that the controversy left a lasting mark on the brand's public image. Both perspectives have fueled ongoing debate about how successful the product truly is today.
What happened to Lunchly? Just seen that the Lunchly X account hasn't posted since April this year. Has Lunchly been as successful in the long run like Prime was? The honest answer, yes. But like, it's just like been killing it in the background. Prime is a bit more in your face, whereas Lunchly is just, you know, all the promo was in the beginning, and now the people who enjoy it just buy it. So it's kind of just like steadily growing, kind of like how Prime is right now. Like everything's just growing. So I know it's not as hyped up as, you know, it was a few years ago, but as a product, you can't have something just be hyped forever. Like eventually it's got to cool down, it's got to cool off. But yeah, in the meantime, people are still just enjoying Prime and Lunchly. It's just I got nothing else to say. People are just enjoying it. As in the general public are just buying it. So yeah, I guess it turned from a meme to a thing people just buy now.
That version of the story feels generous at best and completely disconnected at worst. So when KSI calls it a success, it sounds less like a clear look at reality and more like damage control. The move seems obvious. Keep saying the brand is winning, keep projecting confidence, and hope the public starts believing the story. That's street smart branding right there, but it does not automatically mean the product is actually booming. The real answer would come from the sales numbers, not from bold claims in videos or social media posts. Until those numbers tell the full story, the gap between what's being said online and what people are seeing in stores is hard to ignore. That's going to do it for this one. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know what you think about Lunchly in the comments.